The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Along the wide, winding Mississippi River lived a boy named Huckleberry Finn. Everyone called him Huck. He was wild and free, with a spirit that loved the wind, the water, and the sound of the birds. Huck didn't enjoy wearing stiff clothes or sitting still in school. What he loved most was being outside, under the open sky, feeling the earth beneath his feet. He had been taken in by Widow Douglas, a kind woman who tried to teach him manners and how to live properly. But Huck often slipped away to sit by the river, dreaming of faraway lands and quiet nights under the stars. One day, Huck's father returned. He had been gone a long time. He was angry and rough, and only came back because he heard that Huck had some money. Huck was taken to a lonely cabin in the woods and locked inside. The days were long, and the nights were cold. But Huck never gave up hope. He watched the river and made a secret plan. One night, under a sky full of stars, Huck escaped. He paddled away in a tiny canoe, hidden by the mist. He floated down the river until he reached a quiet island where he planned to stay safe and free. To his surprise, Huck found someone else hiding there. It was Jim, a kind man who used to be a slave. Jim was also running away, hoping to find freedom and build a better life for his family. Huck and Jim decided to travel together on a wooden raft. They built a simple shelter and drifted down the river through silver moonlight and golden sunrises. They heard frogs sing at night and watched fireflies dance above the water. Sometimes they shared stories from their past. Sometimes they sat in peaceful silence. As days passed, they became more than travel partners. They became true friends. One night, as they floated quietly beneath a sky filled with stars, Jim told Huck about his family. He spoke of his wife, his daughter, and how much he missed them. Huck listened closely. He had never heard Jim speak with such soft, hopeful words. In that moment, Huck felt something change inside. Jim wasn't just a runaway. He was a father. He was someone who loved deeply and deserved to be free. Later, they met two strange men on the river. The men called themselves the Duke and the King. They wore costumes and spoke in fancy voices, pretending to be royalty. Huck quickly noticed their stories didn't make much sense, but he and Jim let them stay. The two men played tricks on villagers. They sold fake tickets, told false tales, and even tried to steal money from a grieving family. One day, they entered a town where people were kind and trusting. The Duke and the King planned a terrible lie to take the family's inheritance. Huck couldn't bear to watch. His heart ached for the people being fooled. Quietly, he made things right. He returned the money and warned the family, slipping away before anyone knew. That night, Huck looked at Jim and realized how far he had come. He was no longer just a boy on a raft. He was someone who could choose to do good. But the trouble wasn't over. Jim was captured and taken to a farm. Huck followed him, his heart pounding with worry. At the farm, he met his old friend Tom Sawyer. Tom was full of energy and imagination. When Huck told him about Jim, Tom decided they would rescue him, but in a way that was grand and exciting. Tom made a long, silly plan. They would dig a tunnel, write secret notes, and pretend to be spies. Huck thought it was too much, but Tom insisted. Together, they worked for days, sneaking past guards and leaving clues. It was scary and strange, but somehow fun too. Huck didn't always understand Tom's ideas, but he was glad to have a friend by his side. Finally, the night came. Jim was freed. But then Tom got hurt. As they rushed to help him, everyone found out the truth. Jim had already been set free in a will. He had been free all along. Still, Jim stayed to help Tom, showing his kindness once again. In the end, everything turned out fine. Jim was free. Tom got better. And Huck had changed. He had faced danger, told the truth, and followed what felt right in his heart. He had helped a friend, and he had learned what it meant to care deeply for someone else. Huck didn't want to go back to a life of rules and fences. He looked at the river and smiled. The wind whispered through the trees. The water sparkled in the sunlight. He packed his things, waved goodbye, and set off toward the open land out west, where the sky felt endless and adventure waited. And somewhere, far down the river, the raft floated gently, rocking to the soft rhythm of a boy's dreams.